Hey, this is my review project video all about the reform movements. There were many people in the 1800s who helped to change the way things were commonly done. These included women's rights activists, abolitionists, temperance movement activists, and people who helped to improve the conditions of prisons and schools. Women's rights were extremely limited at that time. They couldn't own land, vote, or make their own profit. Everything that they owned belonged to their husbands. In 1848, women's rights activists got together to have the Seneca Falls Convention. Many women spoke out against women's rights. This was the first organized event for women's rights. It didn't accomplish much on its own, but it pushed others to keep the idea of women equality going strong. Another huge reform movement were the abolitionists. Many people, including free slaves and preachers, spoke out against slavery and tried to get it banned. They tried to do this by giving public speeches and lectures. They also turned to public protests and gatherings. Extreme examples were conductors in the Underground Railroad. Some famous abolitionists included Frederick Douglass, Arthur Tappan, and Harriet Tubman. The temperance movement was an attempt to ban the consumption of alcohol. Many women disapproved of it because of abusive drunk husbands. Other people believed that it was against religious morals. It later became apparent that prisons and education systems needed massive improvement. People like this included Dorothy Dix and Horace Mann. Dorothy Dix went to teach a church class at a prison when she realized how horrible the conditions were. They had men, women, children, and the insane in cells together. She worked for years to establish the first separate insane asylum for the mentally ill. Horace Mann worked to improve the conditions of public schools. He made school years longer and worked to get boys and girls to both be allowed to get the same education.